Hi guys, welcome to Tinderbox. I am Tinder and this is where I speak my truth, my whole truth, and nothing but my truth. So first things first, I hope you and yours are keeping well and safe and sound and sane, and that as usual, you're actually being kind to yourselves. I've been really trying really hard to take very good care of myself, and by that I mean that I've been baking a lot, I've been eating a lot, I've been drinking a lot of wine, but I had to put a stop on it. So I was doing the keto diet before and I shed a lot of weight. Then I slid back, I started just junk eating and naughty eating and just misbehaving a little bit. So right now I'm back to my keto and I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling so energetic, and I'm also doing intermittent fasting, so that's really good because I stop eating at 8:30 p.m. and then I start eating at 6 p.m. so that is a long fast. Now during the fast I'm drinking water, I'm drinking my usual infused tea. So I'm trying not to do proper fruit infusions because, you know, fruit kicks you out of the fast. So I'm trying to put a little bit of lemon and some tea bags that I know don't have fruit, they're just flavored. So that's what I've been doing, and I'm absolutely feeling really good about myself. I have a target of getting to a certain weight by my 35th birthday. So I turned 35 in October. I'm so excited. Yes, I think I'm the only person I know who's actually excited of getting older. But I have a photo shoot that I'm planning for my 35th birthday. It's similar to what I did on my 30th birthday, a boudoir kind of photo shoot, and I'm really looking forward to it. And I have to shed all this goodness before my 35th birthday. But I'm doing a lot of weight training as well, so I'm doing a lot of sandbag crunches, I'm doing a lot of squats, as if my bum is not big enough already. But I'm loving it. I'm totally loving it. Now, a massive thank you to everyone that has been loving, liking, commenting, sharing, and all that good stuff. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate your endorsement. It means so much to me, and I absolutely love it. Thank you. Today's vlog is what I actually meant to do last week, but like I said, I wasn't feeling well, and I don't think I had done enough research on this topic. So I just wanted to take a little bit more time to do a little bit more research before I present it to you, and I think I did that over the last 3 days or 4 days. So yeah, so today's topic is a little bit controversial, I mean, considering what is happening right now, and it's about interracial relationships. My intention was to deliver this vlog last week in June, and it's because the 12th of June was the 53rd anniversary of the very famous Loving versus Virginia ruling. I don't know whether you know this, and I don't know whether you watched the movie Loving. It's amazing. If you haven't watched Loving, find it. So it's a 2016 movie, and it's about Mildred and Richard Loving. So they loved each other. Mildred was black, or identified as black. She was mixed in some kind of way, but she was mostly black. So they both lived in Virginia, and of course back then, I think it was in the 1950s, so I think the year she actually got pregnant was 1953, and at that time Virginia was very deep into the Jim Crow laws. So because interracial marriages or relationships or even sex, if a black person and a white person had sex, it was punishable by law. So because that was not legal and she was pregnant, they decided to go to Georgia to get married, and then they got married out of state and came back to Virginia. And one day, cops just came into their house in the middle of the night. They were in bed and it was illegal in Virginia. But these guys thought, because we got married in Georgia, we're fine. So Mildred was like, there is a marriage certificate on the wall. We're married. This is legal. But actually, that was still not legal in Virginia, and there was no way around it. So it wasn't a valid certificate as far as people in Virginia were concerned. So, I mean, they got imprisoned. They were in prison for about a year, but then they were let go because they came to an agreement that they would leave the state of Virginia and go live somewhere else. And they were banned from ever coming back together for 25 years. So they wouldn't do that. So they moved on to live in the District of Columbia, and it was really difficult financially, and of course the social isolation as well, because although each one of them kept on going to visit their family, they couldn't go together, so they had to do turns. It still was really difficult, and Mildred decided, you know what, I'm going to take these guys to court. And they took them to court 53 years ago on June the 12th. The court ruling actually was in favor of the Lovings, so love won. And then it was legal. So every state had to embrace interracial relationships, and yes. So the reason I really wanted to do this vlog is because I have been in interracial relationships before. I don't know how an interracial relationship would survive at this day and time. I really don't know. And I wanted to do a little bit of research to find out how my friends who are in interracial relationships were coping. So as usual, I went out to my social media and I engaged my friends. I just wanted to know what was happening. And coincidentally, I had a few questions from last week's Q&A, which touched on interracial relationships. So I'll address some of those questions on this vlog as well. So Jenny asked me what the difference is between dating interracially and not being in an interracial relationship. So basically dating my own race. So let's go back to my interracial relationships. Growing up in Kenya, I think most of us watched Saikati at some point. Saikati is this movie. I think it was released in the early 90s. And it was about this girl who's a Maasai girl from the Maasai tribe in Kenya. And she was meant to get married off to some local older guy, and she was still in school. She didn't want to get married, and she decided, you know what, I need to get out of this. So one of her relatives was actually visiting, and they decided to sneak out and just run off to Nairobi. So they left the Manyata in the Mara and they went to Nairobi. And this relative of hers, I don't know whether it was a cousin, a sister, or an auntie, I can't remember. Her relative happened to be a prostitute. So she was a working girl, and she had told Saikati, I will get you a job, you're going to love it. So the job was actually to hook her up with another white guy. And to be honest, back in the day when I watched Saikati, it was so romanticized in a way, and I was like, oh my god, this girl is dating a Mzungu. And I know that a lot of Kenyan girls have at some point wanted to date a white guy. It's just the romanticizing of interracial relationships that make us really think that, wow, it's such a big deal and I would really want to get married to a white guy sometime. So I dated white guys for the longest time, but at the point when I was dating white guys, I was like, oh my god, they're so different. I didn't like brothers. I honestly did not like brothers. I was like, they're not generous, they're stingy, they cheat on their women, they beat their women. So there was just this crazy, I don't know where I got that notion from, but it was totally weird. And then I got married to a white guy, and I think life and experience and the whole interracial relationship just got to me, and I was like, you know what, I'm not going to do this. Let me try date brothers again. And to be honest, I am not motivated in any way to date out of my race. I mean, Jenny asked if there's any difference. To me, there's a difference. When I was dating interracially, they never see you as equals. They always want to think that the guy is doing you a favor. They don't think about your life. Like, I had a really good life in Kenya. They don't think about that life. They don't think about your achievements. And I've spoken with a few of my male friends who are also in interracial relationships, and they struggle with the same ideology that the white person is doing you a favor. So some of the questions that I was being asked when I went to house parties, whenever I visited him in Edinburgh, is it better here? So are you feeling lucky to be here? Of course, they were very unintentional kinds of microaggression questions, and I felt a little bit, it's almost like I didn't have anything to bring to the relationship. I was just sponging off this guy who had brought me to the UK. So there's always that. And of course, if you're a man in an interracial relationship, most of the times they're like, so what does he want with her? What is he getting from this? They don't think about what you're bringing to the table. You might be earning more. You might have a better background, a better life where you've come from. But the fact that you're black and they're white, it's almost like there's definitely that thought that somebody is doing you a favor. So I just wanted an easy life. I wanted to be in a relationship where I could understand the person I'm with. And of course, being in the UK, I was thinking black. I just want to date a black guy. I don't want to date white guys. I want to date a black guy. But I didn't really think about the differences in the black culture as well. So I tried dating West Africans and I was like, no, it didn't work for me. And I had to move closer to home. So I am Kenyan and right now I'm dating a guy that's Ugandan. So culturally, I feel that I connect with him more and it is the closest I can get to home. But just because you're dating a black person does not mean that the relationship will be easy. No, there are cultural differences. So you have to adapt and subscribe to their culture. And there are cultures, like mostly in West Africa, they are allowed to have multiple partners or wives or whatever. And if you're dating a West African guy, chances are that they will have grown up in families where their fathers have different wives, so they think that that's okay. I'm not saying that it's always a case, but mostly that is a case. So it's really hard for you to come into this relationship and expect that this guy will only be in a monogamous relationship with you because he has been conditioned to think otherwise. Also, the food is different. So East African food is very different to West African food. It's different to South African food. It's different to North African food. So there are so many differences. And of course, I don't want to be in a house eating fufu and eating dried fish. No, I want to be able to cook my East African food, which is very much like Indian food, to be honest. We do samosas, we do chapatis, we do mild curries, we enjoy chili, we enjoy coriander, we enjoy garlic, we enjoy ginger. So it's very, very similar, and you want to be able to enjoy that food together and connect on that level. So yes, there are so many differences with dating interracially, but if you basically take a microscope and dig deeper, it's not as simple as a black person dating a black person. No, we are totally different, and our tribal cultures are also different. So it's not the same. I mean, I feel like I'm connecting with my partner right now. I feel that I understand him more. I feel that we are in this together, and there is no misunderstanding whatsoever for us. Now, I also had a chat recently with friends who are in interracial relationships, and what I was finding is that sometimes you're dealing with a family, an extended family, that does not understand the struggle. So we're out there fighting for racial equality, and they're like, no, but all lives matter. And they're like, it's a hoax, there's no racism, so if you're dealing with a family that does not understand your struggle, then it's definitely going to push back on you. So if someone can understand that they're privileged and can use that to change the system, that's really good. Now, part of my research last week, I spoke with a friend of mine. Her name is Pauline. And she has been with her partner for donkey years. This guys have been together for the longest time. And I just wanted to know what her experience has been. They have a lovely, lovely, handsome son, and they are doing great. Now, Neil is one of those guys that is a reverse coconut. So you would actually mistake him for an African guy. He is that infused into the African culture. So Pauline shared her story about when they were in South Africa, and they were very, very excited about that trip. They were in Cape Town, and it's one of those trips that you think that you're going to get the best of South Africa, but it was not as expected. They were staying in a really nice hotel, and they thought, you know what, why don't we go out and do a little bit of sightseeing? And they were both excited. While walking on the street, two women were walking towards them, and one of those women pulled out her gunk from her throat and tried to spit it on Pauline. You know, they were speaking in the local dialect, and Pauline is a Kenyan girl. She didn't understand it, but she could tell the anger on that woman's face, and Pauline managed to duck. So had she not ducked, she would be covered with gunk. And these are black people who are so angry that she's dating a white person. Then later on in the day, they went out for dinner, and the waitress was not engaging with Pauline at all. She kept on speaking with the partner. She ignored Pauline, and the manager was there, and the manager did nothing about it. So they ended up, Neil had to say, listen, I can see what you guys are doing. I can see what's happening here. Just give us our bill and we will leave. But it was a white restaurant. The waitress was white, the manager was white. It was very obvious that they didn't want her there. They didn't approve of that relationship, and they were not going to serve her. They were not going to engage with her. And that was it. They were only engaging with a white guy. And then they also went to, same day, they went to a night joint that had really nice music. And everybody was on the dance floor. It was a white joint. And Brenda Fassie came up on the speakers, and they were like, oh my God, we need to go and dance to this song. And they went to the dance floor, and everybody that was on the dance floor left. So they were there, the two of them, a Kenyan girl and a Scottish guy, were on the dance floor dancing alone. And one of the guys in the club just told them, listen, I don't support what has just happened, but I don't think this is a place for you guys to hang out. So I would advise you guys to just leave. Now, you can imagine being in an interracial relationship and facing racism from black people and facing racism from white people. I know that people say that black people can't be racist, but come on, seriously. Do you want to have that conversation with me? And all this happened on the same day, and they were not yet done. At the airport, the guy at the duty-free, the white guy at the duty-free jewelry shop, didn't want to serve them. He was very reluctant. They were buying a very expensive ring for her, and he was very reluctant and slow and took his time to serve them. And honestly, I have experienced some discrimination due to the color of my skin, but I don't think it has been very obvious and very aggressive to warrant a reaction from me. And Jenny also asked about the stereotype that African men are very dominating and they expect a lot from their women. And she wanted to know whether that's true. So I'm very traditional in how I approach my relationships, and I don't let the man do anything. So I'm not the best person to ask that question because I'm a domestic goddess. I want to be in charge of everything. I don't even let my man load the washing machine. Yes, I will clean everything, I will wipe everything. I want to be in charge of the house. I'm very OCD like that. But anybody that knows me knows that I am not the proverbial doormat. If something needs to be said, it will be said. If something needs to be done, it will be done. So as much as I want to do my part as a woman in the relationship, I also expect the man to do his part. So it's not give, 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 give. No, he has to give something back. If a woman does not enjoy domestic chores and then she ends up with a man who does not enjoy domestic chores, it might really be a clash. So for me, I probably don't notice because I'm very traditional in my role in the relationship. I feel that I should do a lot of stuff for my man, but I also expect him to reward me for that. That is a transactional relationship I was talking about the other day. And Jenny also wanted to know whether my relationship with my black partner is spicier than my relationship with my white partners that came before. Now, that's a very interesting one because when it comes to sex, a lot of white guys are very open-minded. They will not feel intimidated when you come into the relationship with a massive bag of sex toys. So whatever you fancy, butt plugs, dildos, whatever, they will just take it on and let you play with them. However, black guys are not the same. They feel very intimidated when you introduce toys. I mean, the black guys I've dated, and they tend to feel like it's competition. Like this bag of plastic and battery operated things will be the end of this relationship. So sex with white guys, from my point of view, is very adventurous. But when it comes to black guys, they want to use their tool of trade. And although there are some that will let you play around with toys, I don't think a lot of black men would let you do that. So the sex is different. When it comes to penile size, I'm going to do a vlog on that. It's not true that all white guys are small and all black guys are big. No, it's not true. But I'll do a separate vlog for that. And another Jennifer asked what my thoughts were on black men and their non-black partners. So I want people to date interracially so they can know the differences in culture, but the duplicity of their intention is what I don't understand. So when it comes to black men dating white women, it's totally fine if you guys have fallen in love. But if you're doing it, what I don't understand really is black men who are very, very aggressive when it comes to racial matters. They tend to be accusive of the white people, and white people this, white people that. Black people who are championing the black movement and then are married to white women. It's their intentions that I don't understand. So are you doing it because you love this person, or are you doing it because it's a trophy to say, yeah, fuck you? You know? I know it's quite controversial, but that is what I want to understand. What are your intentions? Because I don't understand. If you're so passionate about the black culture and black people, and you're like, oh, white people this, white people that, but my partner, no, not my partner. My partner is white, but she's not like the rest of them. No. So I don't really understand what the intentions of some black guys are. And you will see that on NFL and celebrities. And there are black celebrities who date black women. But there are all these powerful men that date white women. And you start wondering, is it a complex you're trying to satisfy? Or are you genuinely in love with this person? Because when you hear them going at white people when it comes to racial matters, these guys go deep. They go deep. So I don't get it. Is it a trophy? Do you really love her? Is it your way of massaging your ego. So I don't know. I don't know what their intentions are, but I think I will have to do a little bit of research on that, Jenny. But yeah, so when it comes to interracial relationships, I feel that the current climate has probably amplified a lot of the issues we're having, and I feel that it's very important for people to weigh out the pros and cons, and it's not that simple. Yes, interracial relationships are very romanticized, but they come with a lot of struggles. It's not as easy as two people that love each other walking down the aisle and getting hitched and living happily ever after. No, it comes with the struggles, and it's really important for you to observe the family dynamics. So understand who is surrounding this guy, because those are the people that you will be meeting at house parties. Those are the people that you will be having at Christmas time, and you need to know that these people understand the struggle of your race, because if they don't, it will just cause so much anxiety, which is very, very unnecessary. So don't be so engrossed in having cappuccino babies and you know, think out of the box. Don't think about ebony and ivory living together in perfect harmony. No, it's never that simple. There are cultural struggles that you have to deal with, and you need to know that you're actually tough enough to deal with all that. And if you are, and if your partner is very supportive, then you will definitely blow that relationship out of the water and you will enjoy it. So that's my advice, and those are my thoughts when it comes to interracial relationships. I know it's a very deep discussion, but it's a discussion that needs to be had, because people don't always think about the afterward effect of the relationship. They just think, oh my god, we love each other, we're going to marry each other, but there's so many different factors that just pop up that can basically be deal breakers. So guys, that's it for today. It was really lovely doing this vlog, and to everybody that actually shared their struggles and everybody that let me know what they're dealing with in their interracial relationship, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. So that's it. Take good care of yourselves. I'll see you guys again next week. If you like what you've seen and heard, leave your like below. Do not forget to subscribe. Be kind to yourselves, and yeah, think out of the box. Think out of the box. It was lovely. Take good care of yourselves, guys. Bye.